Hello, hello, folks.
How are we doing today? I am Rob, the R in R&D.
And I'm PT Dan, and I'm delighted to be here.
Hopefully, you guys can see us. This is the pluses and the minuses of live broadcast.
Yeah.
And we're trying new stuff out tonight. And so let us know. We have the comment section up and ready to go. And we are super excited for you to join us.
If you all
okay,
can, yeah.
So there's that.
Hey,
so
I think I see us. Okay,
we see that.
We had concerns because our poor guest cannot see us. I mean, not that he's deprived from anything.
He was kind of like, I'm fine if you don't see, I mean, we don't have to see this, but I have to, this gives you a little bit of a hint of one of the real big vibes we're doing and huge fans.
Stay tuned. We're gonna recap. We're gonna rendition of Rubber Ducky song coming up
here
soon.
Yes. So
thank you for joining us tonight. We are really excited to be here. Welcome to the sequel of the R&D Voices Against Cancer community show. So we're excited. We're going to be talking we're in the Sioux Empire area, obviously, where Voices Against Cancer is headquartered.
The headquarters of Voices Against Cancer, where we work and fight to give kids a voice. We want to make sure that we can we have video is frozen, so we're gonna have to see here. Maybe we'll not that.
Maybe we're gonna need to do something else. We have people chiming in. So glad that you guys are telling us this stuff, because if we need to revert, coming in. So glad that you guys are telling us.
There we that. Yep. So we kind of froze here.
We are. Oh man. Let's pull ourselves out of the stream and go back in. Hey folks, stand by. We're trying something.
We're getting there.
Didn't work. That's, I don't know. We're still frozen on our screen now. Amazing, guys. I'm really excited about this. Hope you all can stay tuned for a moment here, because we have an amazing guest tonight.
Continue to hear us. There we go. Okay, hang on here. All right, let me try something.
Okay, go ahead. Amazing.
Oh, there we go. All right. We've got 9 viewers.
9 very patient viewers.
Very, very patient. Let us know again. Studio. Nope.
Yeah, can we change that? Out of our own live broadcast.
We got kicked out of our own live broadcast, and I'm doing this before we get kicked out again.
Oh.
And I'm going to put our saving grace in here.
So guys,
Wally's sitting here going, "Oh wow, just wow."
It's incredible. It's amazing. It's amazing what can happen whenever you introduce technology into the picture. But thank you, Wally, for being with us.
Can you hear us?
I can, yeah, and I see that amazing shirt.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yes.
I have one just like it. I wish I would have known you're going to wear it. I would have worn mine. We could be matchies.
We could match these
man.
twinsies, but
Right.
but see, don't have. You have the matching shoes, right?
Oh, I did have the shoes made, but I
Yes.
bought that. I bought that sweater so I could make the shoes, basically, so I could scan the pattern. So now I
See,
got to
and
figure out how to get a Bert.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's
So I can wear
exactly right.
Bert on the right and Ernie on the left.
Yeah,
That's right. I don't want to even try it and attempt my.
I bet you Wally can do it dead on.
I bet it's more than perfect.
Yeah.
More than perfect. Okay.
Well, let's talk about our
perfect what?
Impersonation of Bert and Ernie.
Oh, hey,
Can you-
Bert. Ernie, I hate it when you eat cookies in the damn bed. Oh, hey, Bert. Oh, I hate it when you yell, Bert. Actually, my first job on Family Guy was doing Bert.
Oh, was it really?
It was.
Your Family Guy credits are kind of staggering. There's a lot going on.
Thank
And
you,
then
yeah.
American Dad, too. Obviously, you play actual Jay Leno on.
I was, yeah.
American
And I guess they couldn't get Jay to do it because Stan actually kills Jay in the show.
Oh.
He breaks his knee, snaps his neck. So,
Hey, so I go in there and I do a little Jay Leno, and hey, I see the way wears the pants in your family.
So then I ended up working for Jay and all those years later. So
Yeah.
pretty
So
great.
that was after that.
It was, yeah. It's weird how in my life everything's kind of come full circle in a lot of ways. It's very strange.
There we go. Oh, that's still.
We are sorry. We have multiple things open. Now we're in the void of repeating. There we go.
Echo.
Echo.
So what we'll do,
We're still echoing.
we just need to close it on there, I think.
Anyway, hello everybody. How are you? It's nice to see you here today, and thank you for joining the Voice Against Cancer R&D community.
You're mute this one.
I'm a PG Dan trying to figure out what's
There
going
we
on.
go.
We're all comfy cozy here in Los Angeles. It's a very beautiful day. Just went outside for my jog and walked past a lot of the WGA members who are striking and picketing at the local studio in my neighborhood. So very cool. And I wore my Invader Zim shirt today. That's me right over there, for those of you who don't know. But anyway, oh, you're back. Okay, cool. I was vamping.
Thank you.
Yeah. For how long? Who knows? But no, we're back briefly here. Look at all the comments we have. I don't know if you guys know this yet. We're actually gonna do a giveaway tonight. And Wally doesn't know this yet either, but we're actually doing a giveaway of a thing that he signed.
You're giving me away?
The much coveted
Oh.
person signed. I mean, look at this. This is retro beauty. Look at this. Be kind, rewind. We
Right.
did not. Yeah.
This is called VHS.
Yep.
Back
yes.
in the days, but well, after
Check.
black and white, but
Yeah, check out those reels. We actually aren't even sure. This could be Betamax. We have no idea.
that could be. But and this was something that I never knew. Wally, do you want to tell us about this and the character you did for this one?
Yes, one of the first things I ever did in voiceover was a sound-alike for Flick from A Bug's Life. They knew that they needed Flick to appear in this home video called Flick's Magical Kingdom Adventure in Wild Animal Park, and they had struck an agreement with Pixar to have Flick actually appear in this video. However, he was going to sing a song. It's a Bug's World after all, and Dave Foley, I don't sing. So they auditioned for Flick. And I said, I kind of get his. When he gets up really high in his voice cracks, and so does mine.
Oh, Princess Hattie, it's perfect. Don't you see? We can get bigger bugs to come here and fight, and we can leave the island.
Oh, it's Flick. So I watched the movie, like, I think I could do that voice. So yeah, I became Flick in that. And when I recorded the session, you don't see any animation or anything. You don't see any animation. You just are there recording basically the audio tracks. Then they send it away to the animators for about 9 months, and then it comes back, and certain little things in the animation, they say, oh, we'd like to have him do a sigh there or a grunt there or something, add something. So they do what's called ADR, which is additional dialogue recording. So they have me come back in and watch what the animators have done. And then we'll put a gasp here, put a breath here, put a thing here, put a little chuckle here. And when I sat there in the studio and I saw my voice coming out of a Disney character, I literally wept.
Oh,
It was difficult to keep it together, but I knew this was going to be a great life. If I'm seeing my voice coming out of a Disney character, it was pretty great. And in the song, in that video, I think you can get it on DVD now if you really want to go back. There's a song called well, It's a Bug's World After All, which is a parody of It's a Small World After All. And I did all the voices in it. I did all the parts, all the harmonies. I sang the low part, the high part, everything. So I got to meet Dave Foley when I worked on Hot in Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
If you remember that show with Wendy Malick and Valerie Bertinelli and Betty White.
Betty White,
Yep, Betty
yes.
White.
And Dave Foley played one of the boyfriends on there, and one of the Baldwins played one of the boyfriends. So it was an episode where I was this off-camera sports announcer. They were watching TV, but we did the table read in Betty's dressing room. So we're all sitting around, and somebody said, "Oh, he was the announcer on the Tonight Show." And she said, "Oh, did I ever meet you?" I said, "No, I stayed mostly in the audio thing." She said, "Oh, so I love Jay." I say, "We all love Jay." So Wendy Malick and I had worked together on Just Shoot Me, where I was a club owner of a rock and roll club on Just Shoot Me. And I'd always had a crush on Valerie Bertinelli since I was, a wee lad. So sitting there, I wanted to say, "I wrote you a lot of fan letters when I was about 12. Did you get them?" And I do have a signed Valerie Bertinelli 8x10 picture that I got in the mail. And I brought it, but I didn't have the courage to go, "Did you really sign this? Or should I throw it away?" Because a lot of those people, they're on TV shows, their signatures are phony baloney.
Oh my
They have a crew of people who know how to do their signature, and they answer their fan mail. And then, so I was talking to Dave Foley, and I was talking to the Baldwin brother. I forget what his name was, but we're going around the room, and they said, he's Jay Leno's announcer. And Mr. Baldwin was talking about doing video games, and I told him I was the Riddler. He says, "Oh, he's the Riddler in the Batman games." And Dave Foley goes, "And he's my voice." Because I said, "Well, yeah, I guess you were busy or something, and there was a song, and maybe because you didn't want to sing." He says, "No, they didn't want me to sing." That's what he said. Yeah, so he fully admits that he's not a singer. So anyway, so that's how that whole thing came to be. And then I started doing flick and some video games and some other things, because Dave Foley was a fairly busy actor, so he couldn't just jump in and do these extra little things that would, toys, games, greeting cards, the things that the big stars who voice the movies don't have really time to do. So they get what's called voice match actors who can match the voice. And I've done it for Ben Stiller and Bruce Willis and a bunch of other people. Jason Statham, I used to do Jason Statham all the time. And when they'd have to cut out all the cursing for the TV edits, they'd have me come in. And,
that's you. So
And then that's the
whenever Doc Brown says, "Hey, when this thing hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious," and it says stuff very obvious.
Yeah. No, it's not me. It's a guy like me who does the Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, but I do the Jason. I do the Jason Statham stuff.
Right.
I suppose that. Are you fooling kidding me? That kind of stuff.
The ones that are very clearly voiced over, but you think about it, and you really, I mean, the average Joe takes for granted how much extra work that takes, and the I guess you would call it post editing, where they have to do all of that.
Yeah, in this day and age, what they can do, what you'd have to do in the old days of using videotape and locking it into the film and all that kind of stuff, you'd have to basically do the entire sentence sounding like the guy. But now you do the entire sentence, they can just take out the word they need digitally and just put it into Jason's sentence. So it's Jason, Wally, Jason. So it's Jason, Wally, Jason, Wally, depending on what he says.
How much cursing there is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
so it's a pretty amazing technology nowadays.
The things that you do, I've watched. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I've watched a lot of your stuff that's on the Wally World YouTube channel.
And
there's some great stuff out there. One of the things I really loved is the way that you have you've taken it upon yourself to teach some people some things about voice acting. And I think I got sucked in last night. I watched a whole 25-minute long video, but the amount of sound-alike stuff you did in there, you did a perfect Marlon Brando and a few other things. And I was like, whoa, he wasn't even trying. Like, he was literally just rattling off a story about Marlon Brando. But those things were kind of incredible to me. And it's amazing how much you have this ability to just sound like whomever, like whatever it comes down to it. I don't know.
Are you talking to the, did you see, was that a video that I did?
There was a San Diego Comic-Con video of you giving a workshop on voice.
Oh, really?
And you're talking to people about vocal technique, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, oh, I'm just like in school now. This is amazing. And
boy, that was a long time ago. I
think it was from 2016, maybe.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if you Google
I did a Brando.
Yeah,
interesting.
You search for you on YouTube. That's one of the first things that pops up. Is this?
Wow, really? Okay. I had forgotten I had done that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I definitely enjoyed it. So to be fair, we have not talked about this. We did talk about Dr. Lou George being on the show with us. He is not going to be on the show tonight. That's what you get whenever you have you invite a doctor to be on the show.
Right.
And I'm glad for Dr. Lou and how he takes care of people.
We did kind of find a replacement for him.
We do have a replacement here. We should probably, let's bring in the replacement.
Yeah.
There he is.
That's the other doctor.
Yeah,
that's right.
We've got,
I think he has that ring too, you know?
Very, very cool. Well,
we are excited to have Dr. Lou.
Hey, that guy's a poser. That guy is no keyboardist compared to what I can do.
Hey, Ralph, how's it going?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. But when you showed Dr. Teeth, I had to get on here and kind of show my own muscle a little bit.
Now,
he's a good keyboard player, but he hasn't been playing as long as I've been playing, you know. Yeah.
I was going to say, have the two of you ever had, you know, like there's the dueling pianos and the dueling cellos?
He's afraid to. He's afraid to be quite honest.
Yeah. You've probably put the gauntlet down, put the hammer down, and you know, throw it out there.
Yeah, I like to play acoustic piano, and I'm really good at it. I can play classical. You know, Dr. Teeth is very, very talented, but, you know, the guy is mostly about all the electronics and about rock and roll. He just doesn't have the versatility that a dog like me has, you know.
I feel like he relies very heavily on the drummer, you know.
The drummer seems to have his own personality and really wants to take over. Yeah.
Have you ever played a gig with him?
I've had my battles with that guy before. I'm done. All right, see you guys.
Oh, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I find myself hoping that that's maybe not the last we're going to see.
I tell you what, we could do a whole entire episode just on the Muppets alone.
Yeah,
and it's just they're classic, and now you know we watch them on. I don't know if I can say the copyrighted streaming service that has them on, but you know,
it's the one with the plus.
It's the one with the plus. Yeah, the plus. We call it the plus. But all of the originals, we love watching the originals and all of the guests on that time and everything. But yes, let's kind of.
We can jump into the story. I want to talk about backstory first of all. But we've been talking about. We've got Wally Wingert and all of his characters, all this stuff. One thing that it's kind of staggering. I want to show you guys a little pink thing from his website.
Yes.
This is kind of pasted together, obviously a Sergeant Pepper motif, but this is kind of a ton of his characters, and it's just staggering, isn't it? Like, I sat there, I showed my kids, and they were like, oh, and we were zooming in, and I was, okay, what about this one over here and all this stuff? So I was showing them all these different characters, and it's just staggering to me how one person can fit their voice to so many different things. And
right.
So I'm thankful for you. I think it's amazing what you're doing. We do have a cool little thing here. We were going to talk about Voices Against Cancer, and I think we're going to run this fancy little video because darn it, we paid $3 for it. So let's no.
I saw. Oh yeah.
In Dr. Lou George's absence, we know that he has given full credit and full approval to everything that Wally Wingert is going to say about the origin of Voices Against Cancer. So I think we should jump right in.
I believe so. Yes. Because if it wasn't for you and Dr. Lou, we wouldn't be here. None of the Voices Against Cancer stuff would be here. And that's what it comes down to it. And I've known you since 2019. Seems a lot longer with COVID and everything else, but this passion and this life-changing situation brings us all closer, and so there's this connection that we have. And so on a serious note, we want to hear the backstory. What does Voices Against Cancer mean to you, and the true backstory of how you and Dr. Lou came about with all of this.
I have a really good childhood friend that still lives in South Dakota, because I'm from South Dakota. I'd lived in Sioux Falls until through second grade. From third grade to junior in high school, I lived in Aberdeen, and senior in high school, I lived in Sioux Falls, and then beyond, and then I moved out here in 1987. So I have a really good childhood friend. We used to play Starsky and Hutch all the time. I was Starsky, he was Hutch, but we're still in touch. And long about 2016 or 2017, he had said, "Oh, I heard about this doctor in town who has a castle outside of town. He has all these collectibles like you do." And I was like, "Really? That's fascinating. But in Sioux Falls, really? That's wild." So at the time, I was doing an internet show called Wacky Wally's Vintage Toys with one of the former editors from The Tonight Show, whom I used to work with. And he came over and shot a couple of episodes at my place here, and then he moved on to other things eventually. But I said, boy, interviewing Dr. George at his house would be a great episode, and showing like, hey, look, all kinds of people are into nerddom, the
Right.
voice actors, ditch diggers, oral surgeons,
Right.
So I had called him, and we played phone tag for about a year. I don't get back to Sioux Falls that often, but we played phone tag for about a year. And I think it was about 2018 or 19 before we finally connected. No, it was 2018, actually. When we finally connected, had me out to the house. It was a great time. Met his wonderful family, and his mom and his mom's boyfriend and their little dog and their daughter and Gina. It was great. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm thinking about this when I got back to LA. I thought, Sioux Falls never really has had any sort of thing that I know of anyway, where voice actors have come to town, just people who do cartoons. Adam West, I met him in Sioux Falls back in 1980, and they had a lot of these icons show up from time to time.
Now, hang on. I want to stop you there. You said that Adam West, weren't you responsible for bringing Adam West to Sioux Falls?
The second time back in 1988, I was, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But in 1980, when I met him, I was a radio DJ, and I said, I got to meet Adam West. And then we were friends for 37 years.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, Doc, with all of your influence around Sioux Falls and everything, and all the people in the kind of collector world there, and all the voice actors that I know here, and a lot of them are on the circuit. This is about 2018. And I said, why don't we put together a convention in Sioux Falls, and I can bring all the voice actors in, and they can sign photos, and, Mickey Mouse. At first we were talking about having Mark Hamill come.
Oh, wow.
Which would have been, yeah. And then right around 2018, Mark decided to stop touring, stop traveling, just kind of stay at home with his family. And we're like, okay, let's go. We tried really hard.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't on the road anymore. So we said, well, let's get some others. I know the voice of Goofy, Mickey Mouse, the voice of Scooby-Doo. And so he, obviously Doc is a huge Transformers fan. Yeah. So we said, boy, if you could get Frank Welker and Peter Cullen here, that would really be great. And I said, let's make that a goal. Let's try and make that happen, because I know they're on the road. They're touring. Yeah. So I called, Frank, or I emailed Frank, and because we work on the Garfield show, we used to all the time, but for 6 seasons. And I didn't really know Peter that well, but I called their manager, and I said, here's what we'd like to do. We got all this. We have a thing. So Dr. Lou said, I want to do this on one condition, that is for charity, solely for charity. I said, well, great. We'll get great people that way with the charity angle. And what charity would you like to do? And he said, well, I'm close to the St. Baldrick's children's cancer thing. And I said, fantastic. Let's do that. So he did all of you guys, Dr. Lou and you guys. I got to not call him Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
an inside it's an inside joke where no, he doesn't mind, but when people he don't know the joke,
Right.
they
Yeah,
think, why is he calling a nice guy like Dr. Lou George Dr. Doom? It
Yeah.
sounds so ominous.
He likes
But the
Bill.
reason he told me the reason he has a castle outside of town is he always loved Dr. Doom as a kid in the Fantastic Four comics, and he's like, someday I want to live in Dr. Doom's castle. So my buddies and I out here call him Doom. It's like, oh yeah, I talked to Doom today, and so anyway, so it's a term of endearment. So don't be upset. So I said, okay, well, we're going to get Frank and Peter, and we're going to try and get them to your house to see your amazing collection. And there's some stuff that you want to have signed by Frank and Peter that you can't possibly move. So you'd have to get them there. So how about we do this big soiree where we have some honor families and some kids who maybe can't make the one-day event the next day to spend some private time with some of their voice actors and getting pictures and autographs and stuff. That'd be kind of fun. So it all worked out eventually. However, there was this little hiccup in 2020 called the pandemic.
Yeah.
So in 2019, I said, hey, Doc, Frank and Peter are going to be in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Toy Con. Why don't you fly out? I'll introduce you. You can tell them what we want to do. That way they can put a name to the face, and we'll go from there. He said, okay, great. You can meet Kevin, who's their manager, and he realized that you're not a bad guy, and it's all good. So he did. He flew to Vegas, and I never forget. You know, my mind is flying commercial, right? So who knew that Dr. Doom had his own private jet? I should have figured. Only the best for the Latverian king, you know. So my friend Mark and I are already in Vegas because it's an hour from Los Angeles. And we're on the tram, you know, circling around, seeing different things. And I got a text at up 2 p.m. that Dr. Lou had touched down. And I said, wow, so soon? And I said, what kind of flight were you on? He says, oh, we took the private jet. I'm like, of course you did. Of course you did. So we're on this train and there's other people in the car there, the train car there. And I turned my phone off and I just looked at Mark and I said, Doom has arrived. And everybody's looking at us like, oh, what? Is he going to blow the train up? Is he some kind of terrorist or something? And I, you know, because I was just letting him know that Dr. George had touched down. But everybody else thought the comment was a little strange because they heard it out of context. So anyway, so we eventually linked up, went to the show. He met Frank and Peter, and he met Sam Jones, who was Flash Gordon, and he met Greg Berger, and he met all these great people. And we had this great list planned for 2020, including Frank and Peter, Mickey Mouse, Jim Cummings, Goofy, Greg Berger, all these great people. And then womp, 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 womp. It all went awry. So we reconnoitered and tried to do it for 2021, but some of the actors out here weren't quite ready to travel yet. So they said, we're not quite back on the road yet, which, you know, from a Sioux Falls perspective, you know, they're like, well, what do you mean they're not really travel? It's all good. Everything's good now. It's like, well, not quite out here. It's a different thing. So it took us yet another year to 2022. And then we launched that event that everybody's, you know, well familiar with from last year, and had an amazing time and raised good money for kids, got a lot of sponsors involved, had a lot of great people show up, Giancarlo and Emily and Frank and Peter and Phil Lamar and Colleen and all the, you know, Miley, and there's Miley right there. There's Phil.
Yep.
There's me. Oh, these are great shots. There's Dr. Lou and Phil. I love Phil. And there's a fan. And there's a guy. Oh, that kid right there loves Bleach.
Yeah.
He said when he was in the hospital with cancer. Oh, what a great guy. He said when he was in the hospital, Bleach, you know, watching Bleach meant everything to him. There's the great Peter Cullen.
There he is.
Peter Cullen.
Yes.
And yeah. So and my friend Mark, who, you know, loves to tour around and take pictures of all this stuff. Mark's actually a cop in Thousand Oaks. He's, you know, he and his wife live in Thousand Oaks. She's a teacher. They're very, you know, quiet existence. But Mark loves to get out and photograph this stuff, especially if there's like celebrities and kids involved and people who are, you know, meeting each other for the first time, getting autographs and getting pictures together and photo ops. And he loves all that kind of stuff because it's good energy.
Shout out to Mark. 2 thumbs up. His
Mark the cop. Yay, Officer Mark.
Photography is awesome. Yes. Yep.
So he came to Sioux Falls last year because he didn't want to miss this event.
Oh my goodness.
And it was utterly amazing. And he had been to Sioux Falls one other time. He flew in with me to Sioux Falls once. So we took a red eye because we wanted to go to the ELO concert in St. Paul.
Oh,
But as opposed to, this is 2019.
yeah.
Mhm.
But as opposed to flying from Burbank to or LAX to Minneapolis and calling it a day, we had to fly to Sioux Falls. So we actually flew to Minneapolis, had to take a connection at about 5 in the morning to Sioux Falls, and then get to Sioux Falls so we could get in a car, pick up my buddy Scott McGuire, and drive back to Minneapolis. So it's like, well, because the road trip with Scott was going to be so funny and amazing, we said, let's just do that. Plus, you get to see Sioux Falls, see the folks, see Doom, and Doom, Dr. George had us come out to his castle and everything. And Mark got some great photos, and it was an amazing trip. So Mark was like, oh, I so want to be there for this. This is going to be amazing. So, and it was, and it was just one of those events where if you look at it on paper, you're like, is this going to work? Wow, this is a lot. And then it just picks up an energy of its own once you're in the moment, and it's got momentum, and it's just, but it snowballs and snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. And finally, by the time the event is over and we're all at the steakhouse having dinner, everybody's like, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to leave.
Everybody,
what?
yes. Everybody last. That's how they worded it. Once everybody was gone, they're just like, this felt like summer camp.
We're gonna drop that in just a moment.
Yeah.
You can talk through these clips. We have a bunch more shots from the event itself, and I think maybe some from the Friday night thing. But
there's a few in there mixed in. Yep.
So, but here's some more of you at the event last year, and you can see whatever you want to voice over here.
Oh yeah, there's Carlos, who was a little kid that I was in touch with his folks. There's my old buddy Dana, who still lives in Sioux Falls. There's my Riddler figure that I signed for charity. And there's me signing the Voice Against Cancer banner, and talking to a fan, and doing a radio interview. And I'm gesturing to Frank Welker, who is across the. There we all are. There's my fancy tie. I don't dress nearly as good as Dr. Lou, but I try.
You two were dressed pretty swanky.
Yeah, yours
for
was. I think it was on par. Yours is just more caffeinated.
Yeah, caffeinated. Yes, caffeinated. Yes. So there were 15 actors at the thing, and if when they got on the plane, if you would have said, "Oh, by the way, can you turn around and come back right now?" all 15 would have said easily in a second, "I'm back." That nobody wanted to leave. They would have all come back in a second. Not one of those people would have refused you. So it's all. My cat's eating. He's making.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
So I heard some rumbling in the kitchen over there. I thought it was the mice again. The darn mice.
Your cat. Oh yeah.
Garfield is absolutely no good for catching mice. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I was going to say,
is he eating lasagna by chance?
Yeah, exactly. Nope, just cat food. That's good.
Just cat food. Okay.
Well, one of the cool moments, surreal moments for me was walking in to one of the rooms there at the house with a patient. He was like, he kind of just wanted to run around. He asked, "Hey, can we go and talk to people?" I said, "Sure." So we went around and I just introduced him to everybody that I could recognize. But I walked in and saw you and Colleen O'Shaughnessy talking in one of the rooms. And I was like, "That's Ant-Man and the Wasp right there. That's both of them right there."
Exactly.
And you know what's weird is she and I have done many television shows together, but we've also done some conventions together. And we keep saying we need a really good Ant-Man and Wasp photo to sell, and then we can both sign it. We haven't, and it's the most ridiculous thing. And we go out to lunch, and we're like, "Yeah, we got to get that picture." So we still haven't done it. So I got to find some really good image of Ant-Man and Wasp. But she's played my.
Find it.
We were just looking for it there. We actually somewhere within inches of us have a book that you both have signed.
Oh yes.
And the Wasp on it. I think Rob is grabbing it. We at some point it'd be fun to have both of you on, or at least we've talked to Colleen and about having her on the show. And we have this thing.
Yeah. I brought those in from LA. I had them. I had several of them in my storage, and I said, "Hey, Colleen, would you sign these? We'll leave them for the charity."
Yes.
But she's played my my girlfriend, my wife, my sister, we've done all these different shows before. She's terrific. And I remember her working at a duplication house when I was just getting into voiceover. So I'd say, here's my demo. Can you make 100 copies of this? And she was the girl you talked to at the duplication center.
Oh, nice.
She's like, yeah, someday I want to get into voiceover. And I'm like, well, yeah, you should definitely do it. And now, she's the Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
Oh my goodness.
So it's pretty, and she's had a very, very successful career, which is fantastic. With
I just
the
love
whole
watching, I guess all of these people, you and everybody, watching you guys interact with some of my patients whenever they were coming by to visit you at the event, and watching Colleen talk to them as Tails with the little plush stuff.
Right.
That stuff was, something that nobody really got to see unless you were right there witnessing it. But these moments, they're forever embedded in my consciousness. Watching what I thought was we talk about it a lot on the show. It's a community forming, and really proving to kids going through tough stuff that somebody's listening and that somebody cares.
Yeah.
So I love watching you, watching her, watching all of that. And these things that you guys have signed, we still, we can get giveaways. I just saw the cat. I'm so
Oh yeah.
the cat has entered the building.
He's named Spooky for a reason, because he's like a little specter, a little ghost.
The ghost walking by back there.
Spooky.
Oh, watch. He'll come up at the most inopportune moment and ruin everything.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
Look at the introduction. We're gonna
We specialize in the inopportune on this show.
Exactly. You have to, just like everything else, you have to adapt. And you got to do with what you can. And the celebrities that were at the event last year, we comment that everybody was there for a reason. And what started last year has actually continued, and we do what we call it the ninja giving, where because of what you started and what we've been able to continue to build and discuss, our community for the support for not only the kids going through cancer but the families just is starting to expand exponentially. And the messages we get from we got a donation from somebody, and it had a little letter in there. Spencer Wilding talked about your guys' event and that he was there, and we just thought it was so great. So here's a donation.
Oh man.
And the contacts and the continuations, Charlie Schlatter and Colleen and Emily Swallow, who's volunteered and is an official ambassador. And I get goosebumps thinking about what we're doing and the causation and how much of a community that we can hopefully bring to these kids and let these kids know that we're here for them.
That show last summer was really the perfect storm.
Yeah.
It was just a culmination of the right people. And a lot of that was intentional too, because when Dr. Lou said, hey, I'd like to get this person, how about this person? How about this person? I could say, well, they don't have the greatest reputation for getting along with others sometimes. So how about we choose somebody else? Because a lot of names had come up and I'm like, probably not going to be a good fit. Being from South Dakota, knowing the type of people that they were going to have to interact with, and being, out here working in the field, I knew who would be a good mix and who wouldn't. And it was the perfect storm. It was a mix of 15 wonderful, amazing people who, like I said, would have turned around and come right back if you'd have just asked them. And it was
okay.
It was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
This puzzle, I feel like every part was an essential part. Every piece was an essential part of the puzzle. Every person that showed up for this thing had something that they did. You being able to weed out and sort of help select who was going to be here and made these magical moments for all of the people that attended. And we had the St. Baldrick's shaving going on in tandem with this. And I was getting my head shaved by my patients downstairs, and then watching those kids go, well, wait, what else is going on here? And they, a lot of them had got badges or whatever to come upstairs. And so they were meeting all you people, and they're just like, they're enamored. A lot of them were familiar. A lot of them are very Star Wars. There's a lot of Star Wars playing going on with my patients. And then, Tails was big, and all these other people, a lot of them are anything Avengers, anything Marvel. Ooh, that's huge. So, so like they go up and they see like an Ant-Man or somebody like that and they're like, oh, wait a second. And then they come over and ask. A lot of them they just consume the entertainment. They have no idea that it's being produced by people. So, moments where these little tiny folks are walking around going, I think like they come down and tell me, hey, I met this person. They're like holding up whatever and holding up photos and stuff. It's just sweet. Beautiful.
It was really funny at SuperCon. I had done SuperCon, I think, in 2019, which was just before that. And everybody knew that I was originally from Sioux Falls, but here I was at this table with all these pictures. And they're like, so you live in Sioux Falls? I'm like, no, I live in LA. I'm from Sioux Falls. Oh, did you draw these? No, I voiced these. If you said, yeah, it wasn't really explained that well what I was doing there.
Oh, sure.
So that's why the whole Voices Against Cancer. Well, now I get it. Okay, these are the voices for the cartoons that So I mean, for Sioux Falls to be able to bring in 15 Hollywood actors like that and just have it go off seamlessly and flawlessly, that's you guys. That hats off to you guys, because you did a yeoman's work and pulling that all together and getting the sponsors and getting the venue and making sure everybody was happy in the hotel. And I mean, like I said, everybody's completely happy. All the actors were completely happy. It was a wonderful time that hopefully people will remember for a long time to come.
Definitely.
Well, there was a moment whenever you were at your table, they approached you and you got an award. And what I'd like to do, we have some clips from that. There's no audio, but I figured you could tell the story a little bit if you're interested. The 501st brought a couple of things, and then there was is it Rebel?
The 501st Legion and the Rebel Legion.
And the Rebel Legion both brought you some awards at your table, and I thought it was a really neat moment, and not just because of what they were bringing to you, but all of the people around that were watching were just great. So let's pop that up here, and you can just give it whatever you got.
Yeah, I had done a couple of voices in some old Star Wars games, so they gave me some award. For each of them gave me an award, which I still have. The one award is in back of me, and the plexiglass one is upstairs on display. So at that point, I was talking about a photograph that I had on my table of a little boy named Carlos, who I had seen on Instagram, and I knew that he was going through the fight, and he passed away at the age of 3. But he was fighting it since the age of 2. Very cute little kid, but he loved Sesame Street Muppets. And I didn't have an Elmo, and that was his favorite one. So I put the call out to all the Muppet replica guys. Can anybody do the voice of Elmo? Can you send a video? So I had my Kermit, and I sent him a custom message as Kermit the Frog. Hi, Carlos. Kermit the Frog. You're nice to see you here, and hope everybody's well, and I hope Michelle is fine, and I hope you're So, and it's, the puppet. And so he loved that. At the time, I didn't have my own Cookie Monster, but I did the voice and had my friend Vicky, who has a Cookie Monster, do the video lip syncing it. And if you know the famous song "C is for Cookie,"
yep.
Yeah, I changed the lyrics to "C is for Carlos."
Oh, wonderful!
C is for Carlos. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for Carlos. That's good enough for me. Oh boy!
So he loved that. He would dance to it, and he thought it was really great. And they loved it so much that they actually had T-shirts printed up. C is for Carlos, to show solidarity with Carlos, what he was going through for their fundraising and everything. And the family is still very much involved in fundraising for children's cancer and so forth, and doing marathons and that kind of thing. They're very, very active. And we did. Oh, I did. He does, or he loved Oscar the Grouch.
Oh,
so I did an Oscar the Grouch video as well for Carlos.
Oh,
and he's polishing his trash can and not polishing to clean it up. He's got dirt on the rag. He's trying to make it dirtier.
Oh,
oh, hey, Carlos, Oscar the Grouch here. Yeah, inside.
And Carlos is from a Hispanic family. So Oscar says, I'm stocking it with all sorts of basura. That means trash in Spanish, but you already knew that. And his mom would send me videos of him watching the videos. Yeah. And dancing around, to the video. And it was really great.
That's beautiful.
And he was a little thrown because he knew the lyrics to C is for Cookie. Yeah. But I changed the C is for Carlos, of course. So he'd go, C is for Cookie. Like, that's not right. I said, my name, Carlos. But we had some Elmo guys who had Elmos send him videos. We had all kinds of Muppet videos sent to him. So he loved it. He loved the count, and he loved all the different things. So, yeah. It was kind of fun. It makes that's what makes being a fan of this genre, as you well know, because you guys are very, very involved with this with the Star Wars group. That's what makes it takes our love of stuff, our fandom, to a whole other level, and now gives us a purpose to do this stuff. When I was in Sioux Falls, there was, if I might gloat a bit,
we'll allow it because Dr. Lou approved, right?
Yeah, I think he approved.
there was no such thing as cosplay.
Yes.
Right.
The word cosplay did not exist. I unofficially consider myself the godfather of cosplay. Yes, in 1981, I was walking around the Empire Mall in a full-on Adam West Batman suit.
And yes, there's a line of kids following behind him.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And it wasn't Halloween. It was just kind of a weird thing that I would do. I found a friend, Chris Malmeen, who's out here as an actor. He was my Robin, and we just go out and do stuff. We had these costumes. We had this love of the fandom. We just needed something to do.
Yeah.
So we'd go to the art in the park, the teddy bear picnic. We'd go to anything that was like charity, driven at all.
Yeah.
We'd show up and do it. We were on the set at KELO doing the muscular dystrophy telethon, or one of the MS, multiple sclerosis, and Chris and I were in our Batman and Robin costumes answering phones. So I got into Superman. I made my own Darth Vader costume. This is all 1980, 81, 82.
Right.
But I made this out of vinyl and pasteboard, just kind of by myself. I'm looking at pictures and trying to make this stuff. So this is before there was any conventions. Well, there was San Diego Comic-Con, but in the area, there was no conventions. There was no such word as cosplay. But it all comes around full circle. So then I finally got into like the puppets. So then the puppets would show up to the teddy bear picnic and do all these different things. So one of the best memories of my entire life was being on the KELO set when they were doing the multiple sclerosis telethon, and Harley Worth It, who was the morning DJ at KELO with Warren West, and I was the nighttime guy, but he knew I had a Kermit, and Dave Dedrick, the great late Dave Dedrick, was the MC. He had a tux on. Warren and Harley were there. Harley said, "Hey, bring Kermit on the set and sit down here. We'll interview him." I'm like, what? Okay. So I'm sitting down between Warren and Harley, and I've got Kermit up there, and you can't see me because it's all, and Warren Harley had his microphone out of sight, pointed to my mouth so he could hear my voice. And Warren had his microphone pointed to Kermit. So it looked like Kermit was actually speaking on. So, and Dave Dedrick said, "Hey Kermit, I got a riddle for you."
Okay, Dave, what is it?
What's red and green and goes 500 miles an hour?
I don't know. What's red and green and goes 500 miles an hour?
It's a frog in a blender. And then Kermit's like, "Dave Dedrick, I'm surprised you. How can you tell that's a perfectly a tasteless joke? How dare you?" It was amazing. It was fun, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I want to be in life." So anyway, but that was a lot of fun. But back in the days of Sioux Falls, there was just nowhere for people like us to go. Now you have conventions and things and all kinds of charity events, and you don't not see guys dressed in Star Wars costumes.
Exactly.
I was sitting in the Community Playhouse Theater green room downstairs before a show one time, and this guy had told me that one of the other actors in the play had said, "Yeah, I heard this guy in Minneapolis had made a stormtrooper costume out of remelting pieces of a milk jug."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "That's possible?" How can I do that? Because it made perfect sense. If you cut things out and you heated it up, you could shake it. It's like it was early vacuum form, which is basically,
It's exactly right.
Oh,
Exactly
wow.
right.
So, and now you guys have taken, now it's like everybody's cosplaying there now. So it's
Everybody's
fantastic.
right.
Well, 3D printing,
3D
helping,
printing,
but, we also
everything else.
you have outlets and venues like the Star Wars folks and the South Dakota Superheroes and Villains, the 501st. Those people show up to the events that at Sanford Children's where I work, and then they also show up to like they'll visit anything. Like SuperCon is a great outlet for cosplay as well. So like when people are interested in it and you get them together, then they talk. Obviously, you guys talk backstage about milk jugs back in the day, but now it's a lot easier to find those things. And they've got the internet telling everybody, "Hey, this is how you can make this."
The resources and everything else, and actually, I mean, there's members of the 501st Legion that are actually extras behind Giancarlo from The Mandalorian.
Oh, sure.
And when they had the Star Wars weekends at Disney, they would always do the parades. And so about a month or two before that, they would recruit and put out on the forum for both 501st and Rebel Legion saying, "Hey, you have to go through the guidelines and the steps and everything. But if you want to be in the parade, we need numbers,
Yeah.
you know, and so they would do stuff like that. I have to go back just a couple seconds and talk to you about your Kermit. So another Ninja Giving was a beautiful video that you helped make for an honored family that couldn't attend the event last year. And you went all out. And when we watched that, my wife Nicole and daughter Cassandra both looked at each other and we said, Wally does a better Kermit than the current Kermit.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, but I know Matt Vogel, and he's a very good guy. And
yes,
you know.
not to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
No, but
well, thank you for that. My Kermit is a lot of people hear my Kermit and think it sounds weird because a lot of them grew up with the Steve Whitmire Kermit,
and
who was a little bit higher pitched.
Yeah,
but I do the Jim Kermit because that's the one I grew up on, who is kind of lower pitched, you know.
Yes, you are, and that's maybe how, because we're old school. And
yeah, I grew up on Great Muppet Caper and Muppets in Manhattan, Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah,
some of those are the ones where I'm like, okay, that's like I'm used to Jim Henson's Kermit.
That's Jim, yeah.
That's why I grin uncontrollably whenever I hear you do it, because it sounds again, you have this talent. So all these things built into you. And I'm saying this because I know I have some of my patients watching. Everybody has these talents that have been built into them. Wally has these talents that were built into him, and he's found a way to meld them all together. And he's using that now to do this amazing thing where he is reaching out to people who need to know that they're being heard and need to know that somebody's supporting them. And he's found a way to do something that's really helpful for the people around him, for the world around him, and for himself. So I'm just going to say thank you, Wally. Thank you for that. We do want to keep talking. That wasn't a closer.
No.
But I do want to say, you know, you have so many cool Batman things behind you. And a lot of my patients talked about Batman stuff. Like a lot of them played the Arkham games and stuff like that. We talked about ideas of things we would have you do if we ever have you on the show, either tonight. Oh my goodness, Gonzo's here.
Gonzo's in the house.
Hey, you guys mind if I interrupt?
Oh,
yeah,
please
absolutely.
do.
Mr.
I was going to do an act where I catch mosquitoes in a tent full of flaming arrows. Woohoo! No, nobody? Nah, not good. Oh well.
It's funny. I just put a huge bid in today. The Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta is doing a fundraiser, and one of the things that they're auctioning is a Zoom call with not 1 hour Zoom call with Dave Goles. And I've been in touch with Dave via internet, but I really want to talk to him because he is living the life that I would have lived had fate been a little different. But we have a lot in common, and I'd love to talk to him. And he's not quite out and about yet, but one of these days I got to get him over to the place here. But he's one of the only original Muppeteers, Muppet performers that are still active. So I'm like, I hope I don't get outbid because I really want to talk to Dave. So
yeah, I want to talk to Dave too, because he keeps putting his hand in strange places of my body and not acceptable.
Yeah, I did have one patient ask me how puppets go to the bathroom, which I didn't know if we would talk about on this show, but I thought
you know, we do have,
we don't go to the bathroom.
Oh goodness.
We go to the kitchen.
How do you interact with a cat then, Gonzo? Are you okay? I mean, it's not
yeah, the cat and I, we have an understanding because sometimes the cat will put on a chicken outfit, and that's really hot.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. What does Camilla think about all this, though?
Who?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we're no longer together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's been posting some
here first.
Some weird things on Instagram. It's been hard to really follow, but now I know. Now it makes a ton of sense.
Oh,
yeah, I've kind of expanded my interest into other areas of the flock.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Wait, you don't call them chickens a flock, do you?
Yeah, I don't know. Flock of chickens.
What's a group of chickens?
No.
Yeah.
What is it? What?
It's a basket, isn't it? Isn't it
a basket?
It's a basket of chickens.
No, that's eggs.
Yeah, no. Oh,
No.
yeah.
A basket of eggs.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna go. See you. Bye.
Good to see you guys.
Gonzo.
Come back anytime.
That's right.
Oh my goodness gracious, that is so cool. Well, I was going to mention Batman. I noticed you and you can talk about this if you want. I love the 60s Batman, and you apparently do too. My goodness. By the way, I want to see a picture of you walking around the Empire Mall with with an Adam West Batman costume on. But yeah, a lot of my
I'll find it.
patients-
I've seen it before. I'll
that's
find
fantastic.
it.
A lot of my patients, they love the Riddler. Obviously, they love the Arkham games. Those are the best. That's one of the best versions of Batman in a video game ever. Obviously, and then they really need to bring that into the movies, because I'd watch an entire movie based on the Arkham series. But they need to get you live action to do. I would want to see you as the Riddler.
Well, they should animate it. They should animate it the way they do it in the video games, and just have the voice actors do the stuff. Because it was so great being at SuperCon and just sitting back and thinking, where was this 40 years ago when I really needed this? And and I even made a joke to a couple of kids. It's like, yeah, see all this? I started this. I started all of this. I was dressing up before Alias were even born. And one guy looks at me very seriously and goes, "Thank you."
Yeah,
Yes.
You're like, I was weird before it was cool.
Yeah, back when it would get you beat up. Now you win prizes.
No,
You put a Batman costume together, walk around the Empire Mall back in 1980, you get smacked. Now you're on stage and you get $100 prize with some Cheetos and some Dairy Queen coupons.
They beat you down and they're making Zap and Powie and Zowie.
Things, and
that kind of stuff used to get the crap kicked out of me. Now it's terrible. Now it's big stuff. So it's great that
I just think it's so awesome. Well, you got to meet you met Adam West. You brought him to Sioux Falls. I thought it was so cool. I have a little moment of one of the first times you guys met. That was quite neat. And obviously you're talking to him.
He's interviewing you.
Well, he's interviewing me about what we're going to talk about on my radio show the next day. That was March 1st, 1980, which I'll never forget. Yeah. And then we became friends after that. But when I moved here in 87, I convinced him to go back to Sioux Falls in 1988 to do an in-store at the Lewis stores.
Oh, cool.
So he was at Lewis Southgate and Eastgate, I think. Oh, wow. The one out on 10th.
Yeah, or 26th and Sycamore one. That one.
Yes, yeah. I think that's the one. Yeah, the one out there by. Okay. Yeah, over the overpass, and then there's the Lewis.
Okay.
So that was great. And funny thing, my dad, had met Adam, before. So he knew my dad. So when Adam walks into Lewis, it's packed full of people. My dad's standing there with his camera, and Adam just goes, "Mr. Wingert." like it was just, and people looking at him like, "Who's that guy? How does he know Batman?" My dad just goes, "Hi, Batman." Completely played along. It was great.
That's very
awesome.
And when you say it like Batman, yes. that's the proper way to say Batman to Adam West. Yeah,
right. Very, very clipped. Yeah.
Very.
Hello, Mr. Wingert.
I have a moment here. I thought you guys had this amazing friendship, so much to the point where you ended up. You guys, you were at his star reveal in Palm Springs.
Yes.
Which I thought was really cool. I pulled this from your website. That's why I have it tagged there. If you guys want to see some cool stuff about Adam West, it's on Wally Wingert's website, wallyontheweb.com. And he's got some beautiful moments here. But I thought maybe folks would like to see some of that. I just think it's so cool that you guys had this friendship that spanned the entire rest of his life.
Decades.
Decades.
To be a personal friend of your childhood hero can either be really amazing or it can go horribly wrong.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have horrible stories about meeting their heroes, and they say never meet your heroes. Mm-hmm. But I disagree, because we had such a great time. And I got to be his Riddler and his King Tut in the final 2 animated films. And just seeing my name up on the screen with Adam West was, first of all, in Family Guy was amazing, because they would list us all alphabetically. So it was Adam West, Wally Wingert. We shared a card. Getting to be the Riddler in the Batman thing. And King Tut, yes, Batman, it's time for you to die and Robin the boy blunder.
That is so cool.
So getting to do those in his final 2 films was really amazing. And getting to work with Kevin Conroy and being his Riddler in the Arkham stuff was amazing. So I got to work with my 2 favorite Batman, and
Batman.
It was just really kind of amazing. If somebody would have said at the Sioux Falls Coliseum on March 1st, 1980, when I was first meeting him, someday, Wally, you're going to voice a character, you're going to voice the Riddler in Adam West's final animated film. I'd say, get out of here. You're full of it. But it's just wonderful how life works. And that's why we as voice actors feel so blessed in getting to do what we do, that we just feel a need to give back and turn it back around to the public. And that's, Voices Against Cancer, bringing it back to that is just part of kind of how we do that.
What?
I have to read one of our messages here from an honored family. And Colleen says, Wally met my daughter, Allison, who is a cancer survivor, last year at the event. And that you called her boyfriend Noah, who was on a boat in the Gulf of Mexico, and left him an incredible phone message because he was such a big fan.
Was it from the Riddler? Did you leave a voice message from the Riddler?
I believe so. I think he was deployed, if I'm not if I'm thinking correctly. Yeah.
And yep, just a couple weeks ago, April 22nd, the two of them were married.
Yes.
So
all right.
So Colleen says, thank you for bringing such joy to them, Wally. And that is, again, and we've said it before.
Oh, there's Spooky.
Oh, there's Spooky.
Hey, Spooky. Oh, I love your cat.
Kitty. It looks like the one that was on the Met Gala or whatever,
your
big cat.
Has better traps than I do. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's one muscular cat.
Yeah.
Spook, were you at the Met Gala and didn't invite me? Yes.
That's a pretty kitty.
Yeah.
Pretty kitty.
Yeah, I lost my collie about 2 months ago, so it's just down to Spook and me now. So we're just hanging out, being a couple of bachelors,
hanging out together.
Oh my!
But you, I mean, you took a risk and you went out and sorry, the ears were cut off from the microphone.
I was like, what happened to the cat? Okay, the microphone's there.
I thought we had
your microphone fades into the background.
Another technical glitch. Yeah.
We've had a show of that, but I tell you what, this has been such a wonderful conversation, and I know that you are forever one of the inaugural people, and I hope that we continue to see you at the Voices stuff. There's obviously a big old lineup for this year. We've got these posters are appearing all over Sioux Falls right now. I hope that they make it everywhere. I hope it's
they're starting to pop up everywhere, and we've got one heck of a lineup again this year, and we've got some surprises coming, and I still want Wally to just bring. I mean, I would pay for like the shipping to bring your entire collection, and that's something else. Go to Wally on the web, and you've got a spot specifically just for your collections, and it looks like the Brady Bunch on steroids, and you just you get carpal tunnel from like having to scroll down your whole roster. Of
and the IMDb page, similar story that gets literally just scrolling.
Exactly. But we've said it before, and the joy that you guys do in your industry and the voice acting and the joy you bring to these kids without even knowing it. And whether it's something as simple as just a little 10-15 second video clip for these kids, it can brighten their day, and that's something that is just beautiful. And to see just that glimmer of hope in their eyes and everything. And so
I think we're gonna need some Muppet videos, I think, to send to some of the patients. I think that's
I don't want to get in trouble. I already have a cease and desist from the Muppets I got in 1982.
You have that framed, right?
I do. It's in my puppet room, and I actually showed it to Brian Henson. He thought it was really funny, and he even signed it. Ha ha. So yeah, hey, why not? How about another Muppet cease and desist? I could use them as bookends. The one from 82 and the one from 23. I need a match set. So come on, Muppets, bring it on. Yeah, let's see what you got.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Here's the ironic thing about the whole thing. I wanted to be a Muppet performer more than anything on the planet. So what do? I trained myself how to make puppets. I made Rolf the dog, and I didn't make Gonzo, but I made a bunch of my other ones. So my mom and I, in my basement on Glendale in Sioux Falls, worked really hard, and I took puppets out to hospitals. I took them out to art events, Art in the Park. I took them out to all these different places just to get experience and perform. And I would show up to anything with a puppet just to get experience. Then we made this bicycle safety video for my high school radio and TV class. And they said, well, this is a great demo. It's got original songs in it. It shows my puppets that I can build, that I can perform, that I can do the voice. And I sent it to Henson Associates in New York, expecting a big job offer to come. Yeah. And a cease and desist shows up. You can never take your puppets. Blah, 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 blah. I was only like 21. I was like, what is this? This is not a job offer. And I showed it to the attorney who was our radio station's attorney. I said, well, what is this? He said, well, this is a cease and desist. I think you're using copyright, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just out doing these charity shows. I want to work for them. So somebody who was a Muppet performer came to my house and saw that and read the letter and said, do you know why you got this? And I said, because some attorney is a jackwad who had a bad day. No, because he looked at the date when the letter was sent, and he said, during this time, we were in London working on Dark Crystal.
Oh, Dark Crystal. Oh,
wow. Jim never saw your tape. Oh. Had your tape arrived a little earlier or a little later, your life would have been completely different. Oh, because wow. Jim, like Dave Goles, Jim saw talent and ability and said, let's develop that, get them here, and we'll work with them, as opposed to, we got to sue these guys. So right. Yeah, I got this cease and desist. Well, now the irony is you can go on YouTube and you see all these homemade Muppets. Mm-hmm. Some of them are performing things that aren't very kid friendly. They're just kind of rude. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys are actually selling these. I never made Muppets to sell. I just made them for myself. Right. Some of these people are making Muppets and selling them, but nobody cares now. Yeah. So once again, I was before the curve on everything. I took the bullet for y'all.
You almost got sued before it was cool.
Before it was cool. And that's what
right.
One of our viewers says, I'm so sorry. I think missed it at the very beginning, but and this kind of goes along with it. How long has Mr. Wingert been in the voice acting business? And that kind of goes back to, and you can answer it, but it goes back to that at the beginning. It's a whole different world now, with the Muppets. And for a lot of people, like you said on YouTube, unfortunately, that's the dark side of it, is the negativity and people trying to take advantage of it. But for an instance with you, if young Wally was here today, I think the outcome would be different, just like having Jim, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I came out at the right time in 1987. And got into voiceover about, I think 92 was the first gig. And then I really went full time about 97. Okay. Because between 92 and 97, I was working as Beetlejuice at Universal Studios, doing the rock and roll graveyard review show. Mm-hmm. So I was doing that for about 4 years. That was a great job. And a character that I absolutely loved.
Hey, how you doing? I got something good for you. Hey, come here. I got something good for you. Sandworms. You ate them, right? I hate them myself.
So I was
you look exactly like him.
Well, now be nice. So not exactly. You look better than Beetlejuice. I mean,
that's why I auditioned for that, is because somebody said, hey, I work at Universal as a tour guide. They're looking for Beetlejuices for the Rock and Roll Graveyard Review show. You kind of look like Michael Keaton. Have you ever been told that? I'm like, not really, but yeah, okay. So I wasn't even familiar with the movie. So I had to rent the movie at Blockbuster, ladies and gentlemen. So I went down to Blockbuster, if anybody remembers what that is. Yeah. Rented Beetlejuice, and I'm scrolling through the movie going, where is this guy? Because he doesn't show up and he's only in it about 12 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, where is this character? It's called, did I get the right movie? I think so. Okay. And then I saw him and I'm like, oh, I could totally do that guy. Yeah. So for the audition, I wrote up some comedy, some material, all monster puns from the old monster magazines I used to read, and that kind of thing. And then you have to sing a song, and then you dance around a little bit, and then they called and said, yeah, you're hired. It was 4 years of working at a theme park, which was one of the most amazing jobs one could ever have. And just when I thought that was a 1 in a million experience, I got the job in 2009 on the Tonight Show. So that was an even crazier 1 in a million experience. So it's really a blessed existence. I'm so lucky to have been doing what I've been gifted with all these jobs to do, and the fact that people like them, and I can reach out and now touch their lives somehow in response is an amazing thing. It's really a wonderful kind of give and take, and I love it. I enjoy it.
That's
We're
awesome.
so thankful that you do. We've had we had a great discussion, and I think we're probably pretty close to closing. You know, we want to remind everybody that the Voices Against Cancer 605 Pop Culture Con is coming up on July 15th. It'll be at the Sioux Falls Convention Center, and we hope we see lots and lots of friends, either people who watch the show, but also people like Wally and anybody else that wants to show up. There's going to be the head shaving event, which my head's on the line. I don't know about yours. Yeah,
I still think Wally could get
I'm not
ton
sure.
of money.
What would if we shaved all of that hair? They would
no amount of money in the world.
Yeah.
you don't want to see what's under here. It's not good. It's not pretty.
Maybe he can help shave.
Yeah,
maybe he can help shave.
That would be good.
You know.
Well, my thing is I'd rather be down, riding herd on the actors, making sure they're doing what they need to do.
Keeping them all in line and everything, and we're just so excited.
I tell you what, Wally, we gotta make a we gotta give this prized piece of film history here to a new home. So what I was wondering is if you could just kindly give me, if you'd help me out here, I want you to pick a number. Oh, and by the way, we do need a puppet. Yeah, we need one more puppet because I have one of my patients had a joke that she desperately wants me to tell to a puppet and see if we can get the puppet to figure out the joke.
Now, talking about the 80s, this is my original puppet, Nate 80s, ATEZ, long A,
perfect.
Long A, long E.
80s.
And Nate's the 80s uber nerd. He knows everything there is about the 80s. He even has his mullet.
Oh my
and
goodness.
He's got his cool green neon glasses. And
That
he's
back is
dressed
really rocking.
Yeah,
that's good.
And look at his cool 80s pants with his Vans. And
I love the Vans.
I had Vans.
Nate 80s here to talk about the 80s, the greatest decade known to mankind. Yeah, Walking Like an Egyptian, Jump, Van Halen, all those great movies, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You know, that whole thing. Remember this scene from the movie?
Your shoes.
Yeah.
That's right, Spicoli.
My skull. Yeah.
Your whole outfit is a quiet riot, if I must say.
Exactly.
Thank you. I totally got that reference. A lot of the kids today watching probably didn't get that reference.
Yeah, no.
But I know everything about the 80s.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering is if you could maybe Nate could, well, first of all, Nate,
Joe,
how do you get a tissue to dance?
Tissue to dance. Let's see. Tissue to dance. Maybe the Riddler knows the answer to this. I don't know the answer to that.
Riddler, yes.
I give up.
Oh my goodness. You put a little boogie in it.
Well, to be perfectly honest, that's a 70s joke because boogie kind of went out by 1980 when punk and the new wave kind of started coming in. Look at my new wave bracelet here.
That is true.
Beauty.
You're right.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Boogie Nights, Hot Boogie Nights.
Yep.
That was all
Yeah.
70s. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Put a little boogie in it.
Thanks,
So
Nate.
what we're going to do here, folks, we are going to have Mr. Wally Wingert pick a number between 1 and 20.
Yep.
And if you are the lucky commenter, then we'll get it.
Do we have comments and questions that we need to get to, by the way?
We do have some. We'll scroll through and make sure we get all of them. But
Yep.
go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 20, and we'll make sure this gets given away. But then we'll ask away here.
My lucky number, 13.
That's my drum roll.
13.
13. Okay.
13.
Okay. So ours doesn't count.
No.
Yeah.
So we got to go. Does that one
let's
count?
say we have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
It's the Gitson.
Caffeinated. Love it.
Caffeinated. Love it. You just won yourself a piece of VHS history, folks.
You know how we would have done that in the old days at 13 KELO, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How?
13 KELO with Wally Wingert. Caller number 13 right now gets a wonderful Flick VHS video. That's right. Caller number 13 right now at 13 KELO. Here's Pablo Cruz. What you going to do on 13 KELO?
Love it.
Little box.
It never leaves. It never leaves. It's always in.
It's always there.
I love it. Oh, it's fantastic. But thank you for. Okay, so we got. Oh, somebody said those are Zuba's pants.
Yeah, Joseph said that too. Yeah,
Oh, those are Zubas. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
the Zuba's pants. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Baby Zubas. I had to get baby Zubas to fit Nate. Yeah.
Sometimes Build-A-Bear works for some of those clothes.
Oh, there's
Sure.
somebody that tried to get
Yeah.
their son to shave their head, but that
Yep.
was a no-go.
One of our volunteers, SB, who actually happens to be
Oh,
a
yeah.
former student of mine. That's showing my age a little
Yeah,
bit.
oh man.
Yeah, tried talking my
Hey,
son
remember
out.
this? Remember this? Batman, 1966. Meanwhile, in the
Yes.
Riddler's lair.
He's evil, so it's crooked. Yes.
That's called the Dutch angle, folks. That's
Oh, yeah.
everything in the was a Dutch angle in the villain's lair. It was all
So my
funny.
brother was so excited when that when the Return of the Cape Crusaders came back was made, and then also the Batman versus Mr. Freeze were the two that were made in 2015, 2016. My brother excitedly told me they got the entire original cast back and all this stuff, and they got all these people doing it, and so we watched those videos or those movies, and we're just enamored. And so I at that time I didn't know you were doing like a Frank Gorshin Riddler, basically.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Gina,
Yeah,
Gina-
I actually I knew Frank. He'd come over to the house a time or two, and we used to hang out at his agent Fred Westbrook's house and just smoke cigarettes and drink coffee all day, sit in the sun and get tan. I'd see Frank at different auditions and things, and he was a great guy. We miss him. He was very, very talented, crazily talented, but emphysema got him, so it's unfortunate.
Oh, it's so hard.
Gina popped on, says, "Great job, Rob and Dan."
I love that chin rub.
Yeah. Thank you for everything, Wally. She says, "We love you. Dr. Doom will be back in action soon."
That sounds like something at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. Dr. Doom will be back next episode.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think that's it. Well,
Yeah.
Do we have questions? Do we have questions and stuff?
That was a lot of it.
Oh,
So,
there is
here's
one.
What is your favorite?
What's your favorite voice to do?
Oh, it's a tie between the Riddler and John Arbuckle from the Garfield show, because he's more probably me than any of the other characters, because he's a dork and he basically talks to Garfield and Odie the way I talk to my own dog and cat, which is because when you talk to a dog and cat, as you well know, you've got to kind of get that musical lilt to your voice to get him to kind of go, to pay attention. If you just kind of go, Spook, you're going to eat your dinner pretty soon, and they wouldn't care. But hey, Spook, it's almost time for your dinner. We're going to have some lasagna tonight. Then he, perks up. So there's certain musicality to get animals to respond. But so I love probably John Arbuckle is one of my favorites.
Okay. So I saw someone did some fan art of John Arbuckle as Ant-Man, but I have not seen any of them with John Arbuckle as the Riddler. So if there's any artists watching or movie watching, I want a really intense John Arbuckle dressed up as the Riddler.
Yeah,
that would be insane to see.
That'd be great.
That'd
be awesome.
Riddler ever, but it'd be so fun to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you notice this or not, but he has one little earring.
Oh, nice.
There,
yep. Got his earring.
Which, very 80s, and that's one of the earrings that I used to wear when I was rocking out in the 80s.
It's authentic.
So, not really wearing them anymore. Might as well donate it to Nate. So
I'm sure Nate appreciates it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We do have another question here. What was your favorite recent fan interactions?
Oh, I know recent happened in Sacramento about a month ago, because I was in Vegas last week, and the week before that I was in Sacramento, and the guy had said that he loved Tiger and Bunny, which is an anime show that I play Wild Tiger and Kotetsu. He's a single father who's trying to not let his young daughter know what he does for a living as a superhero. So he's trying to keep his secret identity secret from her, because he has certain abilities that she shouldn't know about, because he can power up 100 times. It's called 100 power. And he's trying to be a single father and not being very good, but he's also trying to be a superhero. When he's older, he's kind of starting to lose his powers. There's a lot going on with this character. Nice. But this guy said, I love your characterization of Kotetsu, because he's a good father. And he started watching Tiger and Bunny shortly after he lost his dad. Oh, wow. So he said that it meant, a lot watching that show, particularly based on the subject matter of Kotetsu, trying to be a real good father. So that was my favorite. I love that.
Yeah.
And I had the wild tiger cap that I bring along, and I put that on, and he was moved by that. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, you just never know. You take these jobs just for some money and to have some fun, and then it ends up, meaning so much to these people, and you're like, oh, now I get it. And before I had time to really tour around and travel around and do a lot of these shows where you're actually meeting the people, now I'm starting to get it, where I thought that the Transformers series that we did back in 2001 called Robots in Disguise, which was an anime show, at the time it was roundly dismissed by the hardcore Transformers fans as, it's a stupid little kiddie cartoon and it's goofy and it's not real Transformers, blah, blah, blah. So it got no love back in 2001, but it's now 2023. And the people the kids who watched that cartoon at the age of 5 are now 26.
Yes.
And they love that cartoon. Now enough time has passed to where they love it. And I sat there at a Transformers show and I said, really? You really like this show? Oh yeah, I love it. It was my gateway to Transformers. And I said, well, that I get, and they loved it. So now after, enough time has passed, after 20 years, people now love the show. So it's pretty fantastic to get out and actually talk to people and learn this stuff, when previously I would have just been locked into, oh no, everybody hates that show, nobody cares about it. But yeah, they do. So it's kind of nice to hear that stuff and meet the people. That's what's really great about getting out and doing these shows, is meeting the people.
Yeah.
Sure, the money's fine and that's whatever. It's no big deal. I don't need the money that badly, but thank God. But it's getting out and seeing these people and hearing their stories, and it's just, I hear some fascinating stuff, but that was the one that came to mind most recently, was the Tiger and Bunny one.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
you've got this deep and impactful interaction. It's an incredibly personal thing that you've provided to their world, and it meant something. And it's really fun to see that. I love that they can express it to you, but even if they're not always able to express it, sometimes the people around them just benefit from what you're doing. So I think it's an amazing thing, Wally. Thank you for being with us tonight. I think we should probably close the show.
Yeah, we got to kind of wrap it up. We could talk forever and ever, but we gotta. We
need
no more questions.
Next time let's see. Are we? Well, let's see. If there's any,
did we get the?
Well, here's
favorite?
This one. No favorite voice. I think that's. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the families and folks are just kind of signing up. This is a community show, so we want to make sure we have as many folks as can comment if they want to. If you have anything else, maybe we'll keep it open for 10 more seconds here, and we'll see
for just about 10 more seconds. To follow up with honored child Alice, or the Simon family. She says Allison walked down the aisle to an orchestral song from Bleach.
Oh wow,
that was another Bleach again. It's fun because you're open to new things, and I had no idea about Bleach and everything else, and then I saw what you had done with it, and it's just like, wow, totally. Our daughter, she convinced me. She's like, I want to show you My Hero Academia, and I was like, that's very well done, So
it's amazing how many kids are now into the anime thing, and almost more so than American animation now. American animation, I think, needs to up their game a little bit, because the Japanese. I went to SAC Anime, Sacramento, and Anime Las Vegas, and it's packed. And these kids know every show, every costume, every character, everything. And I don't see that kind of passion for current modern day American animation, and it's kind of sad. But boy, they know all about this, anything Japanese. They know the food, they know the characters, they know the manga, they know all the the dealers who sell these toys at these shows do very well. So it's kind of crazy. So I think American animation needs to up their game a little bit, because the anime is kind of stealing their lunch a little bit. So
it is. Well,
I love I've got a bunch of patients that are big into anime, and that's what they like. When they find out that about their anime, they get really excited. That's like their connecting point with many folks. And so I love these little things like that, where actually connecting with all of you guys has made me a lot more anime savvy. There's some super weird anime, and there's some super normal anime, and then there's
Yeah.
everything in between.
Everything in between.
And
Everything in between.
I just
I've,
love,
I've started researching more with
like Bryce,
Todd and Bryce,
yeah,
and
Bryce
just some
Papenbrook, and
the amazing work that those
Yep.
two have done and that are coming, and it's just
Yeah.
it's truly
and
amazing.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to, and with the anime stuff even that you've done, calling that out is like an immediate connecting point with those fans too. I love that. That's the stuff that whenever those kids are the kids that want to come to conventions anyway, the 12 to 18 year olds, those are the ones that are like, whatever, I'll stay all day at the con, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Well, thank you again for being with us, Wally. I think, do we have anything else here? I think we're to the end
that's
of our
about
comment
it.
block.
But what we can do is we have this on Facebook, we have it on Twitter, and we have it on YouTube. And then we can also share it on our other sites and everything. And what we can do is with continued comments or questions, we can take those.
Yeah.
For those that can't see it tonight, can watch it on replay and all that stuff, and we can get highlight reels and everything with Wally
someday,
and cut out that first like 7 minutes where
we
the
just
glitches.
we had every technical difficulty you can imagine. That's what we get for trying to integrate a new camera into our feed. So we probably need to have you on again, Wally. I think it'd be so fun to do if we can maybe have some kids get on and ask you some questions or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and let's get Dr. Doom on too.
And let's do that too.
Yep.
So,
he's looking forward to it.
Here's Dr. Doom. We're coming for you.
That's right.
Well, thank you again, Wally. Take care.
Thanks, Wally.
Thanks, guys. Fun chatting. See you soon. See you in July.
See you in July.
Great. Well, thanks again, buddy.
Yep,
This was another great show.
It was.
To all of you guys who are watching, sorry about the technical difficulties. We're so thankful that you stuck with us through the technical difficulties. And thanks always for watching. I hope that you, in the midst of all this, understand that we hear you, we care about you, and we're thankful for the chance to say that to you. Thankful for these moments where we get to be on the internet and talk about your world. Thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care.